Hello all and welcome to Alyx's World, a safe space for wrestling fans like you. And as soon as the podcast starts, my internet goes bad. Gonna wait for it to come back up. I think we're good. Are we good? I apologize for that. I think we're okay. Yep, everything is fine. Don't know what the hell happened there, but it was like as soon as the intro stopped, internet went bad. But I think we're okay. Are we in? Can you hear me? Do I sound good? Do I look good? Just want to be sure that everything's good. We have a troll in the live chat already. Moderators, if anyone's insulting people in this live chat, please get rid of them. Alright, everyone's saying everything is good. Alright, it looks like we're good. Everybody can hear me, everyone can see me. I apologize if there was any issues here. Just want to be sure. Yeah. Oh, the intro's long. Guys, I do the 15-minute countdown for a reason. It's to give people a chance to come in, and also to give you guys a chance to settle in and get things done before we get the podcast started. It also gives me time to get set up to make sure everything is good. Usually what I do is I use those 15 minutes to get people featured, to get people to listen to music, new artists featured. That's something that I take pride in. So anyone that has a problem with that, you know, you can go watch someone else. That's what I do for my live streams, and I don't plan on stopping that anytime soon. But all right, yeah, everyone's saying we good. Okay, yeah, I don't know what happened there. I think it was just an internet hiccup. But all right, well then let's go ahead and get started. Welcome to Alyx's World, a safe space for wrestling fans like you. I'm your host Alyx, just Alyx, and this was the first Monday Night Raw of the TKO Group era. WWE is now owned by Endeavor, aka RAW Manual, and UFC. And everyone was wondering, how would WWE look under the new TKO Group umbrella? Now that it's under new management, technically it's under new management, although it feels the same. What will we get? Will we get crossovers? Will we see something new? Are things gonna feel the same? Are things gonna get better? I don't know. We'll have to see. That was the intrigue going into this show tonight. And what we got was the same old, essentially.
Worst Raw ever. I regret watching it.
I wouldn't call it the worst Raw ever. It was... And that's just the thing. I think a lot of people, including me, we have to keep this in mind when it comes to Monday Night Raw, or just watching wrestling in general. We live in a time period where there's so much wrestling. It's not even just 3 hours of Raw, which is already a lot. That's a lot to sit through. But you include those 3 hours of Raw with 2 hours of NXT, and then 2 hours of Dynamite, and then 2 hours of Ring of Honor, 2 hours of Impact, and then 2 hours of SmackDown, and now 2 hours of Collision. And that's if you don't watch New Japan Pro Wrestling, or any other wrestling show like Stardom or anything like that. After a while, you need more than just good matches. You get me? You need more than just your average... Oh, Jesus Christ. Lost the internet again. Okay. Lost the internet again. Yeah, this is going to be I can tell this is going to be an issue all night. I don't know why it's doing that. It's been doing that literally just now. It was fine before. We're just going to work with it. I apologize, guys. It feels appropriate that this is the Raw review that gets this, but I think we're okay now. Yeah, everything's back. All right, back to what I was saying. You know, you get so much wrestling to where everything just starts to blend together. And when it blends together, everything just feels okay. Now, if there wasn't an AEW, there wasn't Collision, Dynamite, and, I don't watch NXT, but if I was just watching WWE, I would probably say this was a very good episode. Because there was a lot of really good in-ring action tonight. I gotta give credit to the main event. I thought Jey Uso and Drew McIntyre had a really good, strong main event. And a lot of the story from tonight's show came from, if I'm going to be honest with you, it came from Jey Uso. I thought Jey Uso was the anchor of the show. I thought he basically made the show worth watching. A lot of the story surrounded him. Everything about him potentially joining the Judgment Day, which led to him faking them out at the end. Cody Rhodes basically talking about him at the beginning of the show, coming out and saving him, which all but confirmed for me that he's the one being traded to SmackDown. Everything surrounding Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, and the main event, of course, with Drew McIntyre, his ongoing storyline with him turning heel, or the heel turn storytelling, or whether it's going to happen or not, at least that's the story that's going on. That was surrounding around Jey Uso. So you got a sense of a through line. There was there was a line of storytelling throughout the show, which I appreciate. So there's no way in hell I'm going to sit here and say it was a bad episode. But I'm sorry, I see people on social media, Twitter especially, saying, this is a great episode. This episode is great. It's amazing. One of the best episodes of Raw I've seen. And I'm just like, I wouldn't even go as far as to say it was a good show. Personally, I thought it was decent. Might even feel like it's okay. I feel like if you watched it, there are some things to like about it. But am I going to go back and rewatch it? Nah. I'm good. It's not one of those shows where I feel like, man, that advanced a lot of stories. I don't think it really advanced much outside of what's happening with Jey Uso. Which, great. I think that's wonderful, but the rest of the stuff, I think about the fact that in 2 weeks from this Saturday, we have Payback. Not Payback. Payback just happened. What is it? Fastlane? Fastlane. It's Fastlane coming up in 2 weeks. And when I think about that card, I'm just kind of like, well, I mean, we don't really have a card yet, right? We better get this thing going. I think we're going to do Nakamura and Seth Rollins again, sure. I thought we were going to do Gunther and Gable again, but that seems to be off the table now because Chad Gable lost to Bronson Reed, which makes me think maybe we're going to do Tommaso Ciampa instead. Which, all right, we're doing the long game with Chad Gable. We'll get back to him later on. Circle back to him later. Yeah, you're going to have him go through some stuff before he gets to Gunther. That's fine. What they're doing with the NXT Women's Championship is very weird. Becky Lynch is, of course, your new Women's Champ. I don't think I talked about that, did I? I didn't, because I wasn't live last week. Okay, so those of you who don't know, or maybe you knew, and you just waited for me to talk about it. Yeah, Becky Lynch is now the new NXT Women's Champ. She beat Tiffany Stratton, on NXT last week. And so now she will be defending the belt on both Raw and NXT. And of course, this means she is now a Grand Slam champ alongside her other 4 horsewomen cohorts, that being Bayley, Charlotte Flair, and of course Sasha Banks, Mercedes Moné. Congratulations to her. I'm happy for Becky. Real talk. I think it's good for her that she's able to have that moniker by her name. But it's weird to me watching Natalya and Becky Lynch, 2 former women's champs, competing for the NXT belt. The NXT Women's Championship, that's the developmental belt. I get that you want people to watch NXT, which is exactly why they gave it to Becky. This is another ploy by WWE to get people to watch NXT so they can I guess, make or convince the USA Network or whatever network to buy or basically get NXT on their network. Keep it, at least on USA Network. I mean, I think it's cheap. You're not really doing much with the show. You're just putting all these people on there short term to make people watch, and then when of course they get the extra 2-3 years with NXT, then they'll just not give a shit about it until it's time to give a shit again. I don't know how I feel about it. I'm happy that Becky won the belt. I'm happy she can say she's a Grand Slam champ, but this is a woman that's main evented WrestleMania. Like, she literally main evented WrestleMania. This isn't like night one. No. Not a night one, night two thing. She main evented WrestleMania 35. And now here she is winning the NXT Championship. And then she brings it to Raw, and now she's defending it against Natalya, who's also a former women's champ. Didn't she win both the SmackDown and Raw Women's Championships too? That doesn't feel right. It don't feel right to me. Now, Becky Lynch defending the belt against NXT talent on Raw? Fine. That's at least good exposure. And then she goes to NXT and defends the belt against them as well. And that's fine. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that there's nothing that can be getting out of, that WWE could benefit from with Becky Lynch as the women's champ. I just kind of feel like that belt is more and more losing its purpose. Because the whole point of these NXT titles is supposed to let people know that these are the people that are getting ready to be called up. Now it's just another belt. And more, I feel like these NXT titles are feeling like props. Like with Dominik Mysterio, there's a side of me that's happy that Dom is holding that belt. And if it was just Dom doing this, I wouldn't have an issue. But now we're putting the belt on Becky, and I have a feeling we might put some other belts. Like they got the NXT tag belts, the women's tag team belts down there as well. They might start putting them on main roster talent. I don't even know. But now, because I don't see Dom defend it as much, because I don't watch NXT, it really doesn't do much for NXT. It's just more... It's decoration. It's decoration for Judgment Day. And to me, Judgment Day just feels, in my opinion, it just feels more and more overexposed as time goes by. Like, I'm seeing them everywhere. Literally everywhere. NXT, Raw, and SmackDown. So it's like, okay, Jesus Christ. Like, can we not get so much Judgment Day on our screens? And someone just told me the freaking NXT tag team belts for the women don't even exist anymore. So they just basically ripped those NXT tag belts from NXT and said, "Oh, sorry, no more." Wow. And then the stuff with Nakamura and Seth, I mean, it's just, it feels like we've done this before. Like, it's literally more of him baiting Seth and then having him attack, and then Seth gets his back hurt. That's literally what they did, 2 weeks ago or last week? It's just Ricochet's involved now. And ain't much development there. And then, of course, like I said, what they're doing with Jey Uso, that's great. But the problem is, like, the only reason why I even care about what's happening with Jey Uso is his relationship to Cody Rhodes. Because I think the reason why they brought Jey to Raw is so they can send Cody to SmackDown. And so we can get back to Cody and Roman for WrestleMania. And that's great. This whole, Jey Uso is, trying to make it right with the Raw roster. That's a nice story to follow. And I think it's going to be great long term for the show. After a while, though, it does kind of get to the point where I'm like, all right, where is this going? Is this going back to Jey versus Jimmy in the future? That's great. And I look forward to that. We'll see. Overall, like I said, decent episode. I didn't think it was blow my socks off great, like some people were saying. But I don't actually think it was bad either. Just an average episode. With some nice storytelling elements, but then others that are just kind of, I think as I get into it, when I start talking about it, I might be able to give you more of an in-depth explanation to why. An in-depth explanation to why I feel the way I feel. And then we'll go from there. I apologize. Like, the internet just being out of whack just threw me out of whack, if I'm being completely honest with you. But we back. I think everything's good now. It hasn't been lagging at all, right? Now I'm actually concerned about the internet. I'm not focused on what I want to talk about. I was in a groove. I was in a groove too. Then the internet went out, and I was just like, I hope this internet is still working. People are asking me how I feel about Nia Jax. What you mean? She wasn't on the show, right? She wasn't on the show. I don't know what y'all talking about. Why should I talk about her? She wasn't on the show. Unless I blacked out somewhere. You know, maybe there was a certain women's tag match that happened involving, I don't know, Shayna Baszler and, what's her name? The Mrs. Stark? Tony Stark? I'm joking. Zoe Stark and the champs. I don't know, I probably blacked out during that match and just probably went to the restroom. So, don't know what y'all talking about. In all seriousness, I really don't care what they're doing with Nia Jax. It really does feel like they're building to Nia Jax versus Rhea Ripley, which, oh god. Oh, that sounds like a bad match. Oh, that sounds terrible. Look, I think about what they tried to do with Raquel and Rhea. At least with Raquel Rodriguez, Raquel Gonzalez, I feel like there was history there between her and Rhea Ripley, and that made it interesting. And even though the matches themselves weren't all that great, they were kind of average, if I'm being honest with you. At the very least, the story was there. There was history there, and so you had a reason to invest and care. I have literally no reason to give a single fuck about Nia Jax, and Rhea Ripley. I just don't care. And clearly, Nia Jax is going to lose to Rhea Ripley, which, yay. But in the meantime, we got to deal with Nia Jax just beating up the roster and praying that she doesn't hurt anybody. Which, who we kidding? Then when she's done losing to Rhea, then it's like, now what? Jesus Christ Almighty, I don't know. We'll have to find out. We'll see where things sit as we get closer to the pay-per-view. Right now, we're just kind of in limbo. We're just kind of waiting to see how things play into the show. We got 2 more weeks. We need to get this card together, by the way. And we'll see. I don't have much to add other than what we got in the show. So let's go ahead and get to this review. And yeah, we will talk about Jade Cargill. I did get a chance to look at that report by PWInsider, which essentially said that Jey is on her way to the main roster. Well, actually, I think they said she's on her way to the Performance Center. Yeah, never mind. It did say the Performance Center. So, she's going to show up at NXT, which, you know what? that's exactly where she should be. You know what? Nah. NXT needs to be the place that she goes. Especially if Becky's going to be champ. And you need someone to get that belt off of Becky, right? It writes itself. It writes itself, honestly. But regardless, we got a lot to talk about. We have a lot to talk about. Thank you guys so much for being here. And thank you for dealing with me during this period when the internet was just acting crappy. But everything literally seems to be fine now. It hasn't buffered. It hasn't cracked out at all. It was just 2 hiccups, and now we're good. So, I think we can go ahead and move forward. Let's get to the shout-outs. Let's do the plugs. Let's do the preliminary stuff. Let's pay these bills, sponsorship, and then get right to the show. So, if this is the first time you're watching me, do me a solid favor. Like the video, subscribe, and click that bell to catch all my content when it comes out. Wow, your edits help expand the brand by doing the following things. Join the membership. Click that join button and get the opportunity to request a video of your choosing, whether it's a live reaction, a hot topic, or a review past, present, or future. Also, don't forget to give thanks. Hit that super thanks. If you would like to donate after the fact, you can also like me on Facebook, follow me on Twitter, just Alyx Central. Give me a follow on Instagram. Give me a follow on Spotify. Give me a follow on Cameo. Give me a follow on Threads. And give me a follow on TikTok, for I am the tickest of the talkest. Donate using PayPal, Patreon, Cash App, Venmo, and yes, Super Chats are officially on you. You can donate at any point in time during the broadcast to get your thoughts played live on the air. Email me at justalyxsworld@gmail.com for business inquiries, just to say hi, and please get yourself a t-shirt today at Pro Wrestling Tees and Teespring. Get you an old school The Last Man t-shirt, get you a new school Alex's World t-shirt, but most importantly, get you a blonde hair, blue eyes, apple pie. My America, the remix t-shirt made by It's Firestar Her. All this down below in the description box. Today's sponsor is Audible. Get you a free trial at Audible and get you a free audiobook on me using the promo code JustAlex. There's tons of things we can actually use. And you know what? I saw this. This was an interesting post by SES Scoops. SE Scoops posted this thing about Ashley Mazzaro, the late great Ashley Mazzaro, rest in peace. Apparently, there is this podcast talking about the life and death of Ashley Mazzaro. If that's something you're into, hey, you can get it for free using Audible trial. Promo code JustAlex. If that's something you're into. There's other books you can get. There's John Moxley, Bryan Danielson, and other podcasts you can listen to. So whatever you get using the promo code, it's yours to keep. So let's get a quick word from our sponsor, and then we'll get to some shout-outs. Today's video is sponsored by Audible. Audible is the leading provider of audiobooks. They have over 180,000 audiobooks to choose from, including books written by wrestling legends like Chris Jericho, Mick Foley, Bryan Danielson, Drew McIntyre, and Jim Ross. Today, if you visit www.audibletrial.com, JustAlex, you can get one free audiobook of your choosing. Audible is the best place for audiobooks, and I cannot recommend it enough. In my time, I've listened to Chris Jericho's The Best in the World and Bryan Danielson's Yes books, both narrated by them personally. And here's the best part. Even if your membership wears out or you just aren't satisfied with the product, you can cancel your free trial at any time, and your audiobooks are yours to keep. So again, go to audibletrial.com, JustAlex, and begin your journey today. Thank you all so much for joining me. Over 100 people live. Good to have you guys here. Do me a solid favor. Hit that like button. The more you like the video, the more opportunities I will be given to be recommended here on YouTube. So help boost that algorithm by hitting that like button. Apparently this live chat is broken once again. Guys, I don't know what is up with Streamlabs and their live chats, but they don't show the whole live chat a lot of times. But yeah, if you're watching this after the fact, we got a lot of people in this live room. You're going to start seeing some messages in just a second. I don't know how to fix that. That's been an issue for a while. But regardless, thank you all so much for being here. While you guys are here, show some love to the moderators. Ultra Shot 97 Fires the Heart, Alyx, Ademi, New Japan Pro Wrestling Girl, Khalil does everything, and Big MGM, because all of them help keep this a safe space for wrestling fans like you. Get your super chats in. Super chats are on. Thank you all to the people that donate. I appreciate that. Oh, before we get to the shout outs, everyone show your love for the #1 reaction channel and all of YouTube, of all of wrestling YouTube. Shows your love for A and B Convos Wrestling Edition, interacting with the audience. Love them. A and B just got done doing their live reaction to Raw. And by the way, I did see that WWE strike down their Rock video, and that's a sad thing. I really don't like it when content creators of any genre, not just wrestling, but you could be talking about a lot of things. Mr. Unfamiliar, YouTube member for 11 months. Let's go. Thank you, sir, for your utmost support. It's good to see. But for content creators to follow fair use, to follow the rules, to do everything that they're supposed to do, and then they still get dinged. They still end up getting blocked. Like, their content still gets hit, even when you do things the right way. I've been in that situation before, and you're at the mercy of these big corporations. WWE is a conglomerate. In times like this, you can dispute it, but at the same time, it's like, do you want to go through the hassle? You just kind of just want to be like, you know what? Let's just take it down and then try to re-upload it. And that's another thing too. What I hate about what happened to them is, let's just say WWE lets the video stay up. They put it back up. Because time has passed, the views that they could have gotten, because I think if that video was to have been left alone, they could have gotten 10s, 20, 30, tens of thousands of views. Now it's past the point. Can it still get views? Absolutely. Over time, it'll still garner views. But the hot ticket for that viewership was this past weekend, was Friday. And timing is everything when it comes to YouTube. If you're a content creator and you're asking me, like, how do I get views on my channel? And I've talked about this at panels. Yes, do what makes you happy. Make videos that you enjoy, because that's how you build an audience for you. But timing is everything, man. If you're someone that talks about something popular, something relevant, you want to get those videos out based off of what's trending. Not saying follow the trends, but be the trend, if that makes any sense. I don't know. I just feel like WWE kind of fucked them over. But what do you do? What do you do with that? You take your licks, man. So hopefully they're able to get their content back up and at least get some type of viewership from that. But damn, that sucks. All right, sorry, I've been off if I'm being honest with you guys, I feel like I'm off tonight. I feel like I'm off. I'm just kind of rambling. Internet's been kind of whack. But let's go ahead and just do these shout outs really quickly. Thank y'all for those who donate. I'm just starting from the top. John Bill II, Gwyneth Pack, JJ, who let the dogs out? Who? Bulldog. We also got Dossie Chatham. I also see the Cerebral Assassin, Christopher Carter. We got okay. Literally okay in the building. Which is how I feel about Raw. It was okay. Dossie Chatham. I see Anthony is methodical. Minako 42. Joseph Winters. Carlos Marenzo. McNeil 99. That's a new one. That boy said, you must have AT&T. I do. I'm not joking. That's what we use. You may laugh. Orlando Sabio. It's garbage. AT&T is garbage, but it's cheap. So, Pokey 770, Pokey 770 or something, whichever one you want to go with. That guy. June Heat. June Heat says, I think Jay got enough cachet to go straight to the main roster. I agree, but what would better serve her? Main roster? Or, in my opinion, getting better on NXT and then going to the main roster. I think the latter works better for me. Debit Money Adams. Debit. Money. Adams in his house. Joe Arredondo. And the last was going to Shadow Star. Thank y'all so much. Thank y'all so much for being here. Shadow Star says, yesterday was my birthday. Well, happy belated birthday, Shadow Star. Apologies for not being up here. Usually I don't come up here on Sundays unless it's a pay. Oh, Jesus Christ. Sorry, y'all. Yep. It's, once again, it cut me off in the middle of the birthday. We back? We back. Right in the middle of me singing happy birthday. It cut it off. Yeah, guys, honestly, like, this stream's a mess. I'm gonna go ahead and try to get this over with. We're just gonna go ahead and power through it. The stream's a mess. It's gonna keep lagging. The internet's just bad right now. I got that AT&T. I got that AT&T internet, y'all. It's bad. So let's go ahead and power through this, so I can you know, do what I gotta do. But happy birthday, Shadow Star. I apologize, man. Sorry about that. The internet's just terrible right now. But here we are. Let's get to it. Let's get to the actual show. Jade Cargill. Jade Cargill is a hot topic. And honestly, it feels good that she is. I always felt Jade Cargill had it. She always had that it factor. That ability to appeal to a massive audience. To a mass audience. And the fact that someone like her is a student of the game. She's constantly working under the best in the biz, constantly improving herself. Constantly getting better. Constantly taking the time to grow her craft, to be the best possible version of herself, which is, you know, that's one of those things that not a lot of young talent have. They don't figure out until much later. I feel like she's figured out the most important things early. Now, all she needs to do, and all I'm hoping that actually happens now, is that once she gets a chance to understand how to tell a story inside the ring, she gets better at having good matches, which honestly, she's improving day by day. I saw the match she had with Chris Statlander on Rampage before she, you know, her contract expired on AEW. I feel like she's almost there. She's like, she just needs that one push. That one little push to understand and grasp what it's like to be like a star in wrestling. And that's why when I saw the news from PWInsider that she's coming to the Performance Center, in my head I said, there it is. Perfect. Perfect. AEW is, and I'll say it this way too, as much as they gave her a lot. A long streak with the TBS Championship, pay-per-view, Space and Time, Dynamite, Rampage, big-time matches, big-time stories, undefeated streak. She felt like a big deal. She was treated like a big deal. She was their Goldberg. The female version of Goldberg. So don't sit there and tell me that they didn't treat her right. They gave her a proper run. Do I think they got the most out of her? Fuck no. She had a lot more to give to AEW. For some reason, Tony Khan just thought it wasn't worth keeping her. Now, I'm not saying she had nothing to do with that. Maybe Jay just didn't want to stay. Maybe Tony did try talking to her and she just didn't want to stay. But still, like, there's a side of me that's like, if Tony would have fought for her, if Tony would have absolutely given her a shot at the women's title, more TV time, more stories to work with, a platform where she feels like she can get better, she would have stayed. But I don't think Tony Khan did what he had to do to keep her. Because as much as I liked her as TBS champ, she didn't really wrestle any kind of big stars or nothing. She didn't wrestle Britt Baker. She didn't wrestle Thunder Rosa. She didn't wrestle a Saraya, a Toni Storm, a Jamie Hayter. Like, those are the people Jade should be wrestling. She wasn't wrestling them. Maybe it's because they feel like she wasn't ready. How do you know? Maybe she wasn't ready, but how do you... Let's just say that. Let's just say she wasn't ready to fight them. How did she get ready to fight them? By wrestling them. I saw the match she had with Chris Statlander. She hung in there with her. Feels like she was ready. But yeah, I'm just being honest with you. It felt like Jay wasn't going anywhere in AEW. And that, to me, might have been the reason she said, look, if y'all not going to use me to my fullest potential, I'm going to just go to WWE because I know they will. And you know damn well they will. Number one, it's an AEW talent coming to WWE. You know they're going to stick it to AEW. You know they got to stick it to AEW for getting the highest paid attended show, the highest paid attendance for any wrestling show, right? Oh, you know they got to get back at them. So they got Brian Pillman. Now they're going to get Jade Cargill. And trust me when I say this, she ain't the last one jumping ship soon. I can 1000% see Ricky Starks going. And I guarantee you, when his contract is up, Wardlow's going to jump ship. Nah, they fucked up Wardlow. I'm sorry. Unless they do something with him in the next 2-3 months. By the time his contract expires in 2024, I think his contract is up in 2024 or sometime soon. Yeah, I expect him to go to WWE. So, what Jade Cargill is doing is honestly a reflection of AEW's poor management of how these talents should be featured on their shows. And if things don't get better, then AEW, and you know what? I've been critical of AEW lately. This is perhaps the most critical thing I will ever say about them. If they don't improve and make their shows more must-see and get to a point where they are actual competition for WWE in terms of the markets here, because they can't even sell out the arenas now. AEW is struggling to pack out the arenas here in the States. Overseas, it's not a problem because that's a new market. But they're constantly going to the same goddamn buildings and they're getting less and less and less people in the same buildings. They don't want to test their new waters in different markets. That's the problem. And the more they continue to diminish their audiences and they get less viewers and less people coming to their shows, the more AEW feels like a feeder system for WWE. Yeah, I said it. I literally just called AEW WWE's new NXT. That's exactly what I called them. Because now talent like Jade Cargill, they no longer see AEW as an alternative. They see AEW as a stepping platform for WWE. Because we all know that when she gets to NXT, and I do say win, because I do think that's where she's going, they're going to give her the championship. Matter of fact, if I'm booking Jade Cargill, that's who beats Becky Lynch. Why not? Why not? Becky has the belt, right? Jade Cargill beats Becky Lynch. What other way to establish her? Oh, she would be a monster. You have her beat Becky Lynch in her first match? Yo. And then you send that girl up to the main roster once she's had a good run on NXT to hone her skills. She's working with coaches. She's working with Shawn Michaels to learn how to do storytelling, to work, to learn more psychology, in-ring psychology, to define herself, to hone her skills. You send that Jade Cargill to WWE. Oh, watch out. Watch the hell out. I'm excited. I'm seeing the memes. I saw y'all saying Jade Cargill should join the Street Profits and Bobby Lashley and Bianca Belair. Bianca Belair, Jade Cargill, Street Profits, and Bobby Lashley. Man, shit. The sky's the limit for her. And I'm going to support her every step of the way. So anyone saying that, who cares about Jade Cargill? I think this is going to come back to bite Tony. He let a good one get away. I mean that. I think Tony Khan let a good one get away. And when it's all said and done, he's going to look back on this decision and be like, damn, I should have fought for her. Like he should have fought for Cody. And I get Tony Khan just wants to be good with everybody. He doesn't want to rock the boat. He doesn't want people to feel like, they can't leave. He wants to be their friend. Nah, man, look here. There comes a point in time where you need to fight for people. I think he should have fought for Jade Cargill. He didn't, clearly, but he should have. But yeah, what are we going to do? At this point in time, it's a done deal. She's already on her way to the main roster. I mean, the Performance Center, which in turn would mean she's on her way to the main roster, but it's going to take a longer period of time to get there. So give me your thoughts, man. Like, where is your head at when it comes to Jade Cargill? Do you think she's going to do well with the main roster? Do you think she's going to do well on NXT? Do you think she should beat Becky Lynch for the NXT title? I think she should. I think Jade Cargill should beat Becky Lynch for the NXT title. Why not? It'd be nice to see. But I look forward to seeing what y'all have to say about Jade Cargill. All right, when it comes to Monday Night Raw, kind of like 2 weeks ago, where you watch the show and you kind of come out of it going, okay, that's kind of how I feel. And so my review is going to kind of reflect that. I'm not going to go in order. I'm just going to kind of go all over the place. But I will start off with Cody Rhodes, because I do think he played a big role in tonight's show. And Salt Lake City, Utah, by the way, which we say this every week. It's the same thing. Sell out. They broke a record. Apparently, they did the most tickets sold out of any Raw event to ever come to Salt Lake City. They continue to break records. So that's good. Always good to see. But Cody Rhodes, he keeps coming out. And every time he comes out, and it's been happening for, I think, 2 weeks now, maybe so, he's interrupted by Dominik Mysterio. He can never get his... He's trying to tell us something, but he keeps getting interrupted. And that's being done on purpose, because what he's probably trying to tell us is, I brought Jey Uso to Raw so I can go to SmackDown. I know people don't think it's Cody for some reason. To which I ask, if it's not Cody Rhodes going to SmackDown, then who the hell else are you going to send to SmackDown? You're going to send Seth Rollins to SmackDown? You're going to send Gunther to SmackDown? Who are you going to send to SmackDown? Drew? He just came from SmackDown. That doesn't make any sense. Johnny Gargano? That's not a fair trade at all, honestly. I love Johnny, but Jey Uso for Johnny? It's clear as day that the one going to SmackDown is Cody Rhodes. And him continuing to associate with Jey, telling Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn after he beat Dominik Mysterio at the beginning of the show, in a rematch that we've already seen. After, beating Dom, he tells Sami and Kevin, look, I know y'all had bad history with him, but I do think he's a changed man, and I think he's going to be good for the show. That all but confirmed to me that, yeah, he's definitely going to SmackDown. And I love that, and we'll get to the main event in just a second. I like that he was the one to make the save for Jey and not Drew. And I'll explain that later. But it's clear that what they're doing with Cody is setting him up to go to SmackDown. Because if he's not on SmackDown competing for the world title, what else is he doing? What does he have to do on Raw now? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. So, yeah, I'm standing by my first prediction. I'm not going to change it. I could be wrong, but I think it's Cody Rhodes going to SmackDown. I think it's pretty clear that it's Cody going to SmackDown, getting ready to challenge Roman Reigns. The stuff with Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, and Jey. Again, the center focus of tonight's show is Jey Uso, and then everyone's story surrounding him. The stuff with Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens not necessarily trusting Jey Uso, not really thinking that he's turned over a new leaf. Sami Zayn being a little too trusting because they have history with the bloodline and just being Usi. You know what I mean? But it makes sense. I would 1,000%. I would 1,000% understand why Kevin Owens wouldn't trust Jey Uso. From a storyline standpoint, Jey Uso played this shit before, where he pretended to be cool with Sami and then he turned on him. He's done that before, many times. So Kevin Owens is not stupid. He's like, well, you've pretended to be cool before and then you turned on my friend, so why should I trust you now? What makes me think that what makes me think that you won't turn before? I've been dealing with you for 3 years. I've seen you act the way you've been acting. I know, and he said this in the show. Kevin Owens told this to Jey Uso. I know when your back is up against the wall, you're going to cling to the bloodline, or at least to a faction. In this case, you're going to cling to Judgment Day. You're going to cling to Judgment Day. Right? So, for me, storytelling-wise, Kevin Owens has all the right to not trust Jey Uso. Now, clearly, over time, he'll come to feel like, okay, yeah, for sure. I trust him now. But it's the same thing with Drew McIntyre. I 100% agree with Drew McIntyre's stance when it comes to Jey Uso. 100%. Drew, if anything, should be one of the main people who want Jey Uso off of Raw. Because Jey Uso played a huge role in Drew not beating Roman Reigns. The Bloodline played a huge role in screwing Drew out of the championship in Cardiff, Wales. He almost had the title. It was his. So yeah, like 100%. Like Drew, everyone's saying Drew turned heel. I'm like, did he though? Like from a storyline standpoint, even if he was a babe, even if he was a heel, he would still be justified. So I love the dynamics around Jey Uso. I like what they did with the main event, getting into it. You had the Judgment Day surrounding the ring on Jey Uso's side. You see them rooting on Jey. They're not interfering in the match. They're just talking to him, giving him a pep talk. Because they could have interfered a lot more than they did. And then as Drew was getting momentum, then they interfered. And then Jey took advantage of it. You know. He didn't realize what was going on, but he took advantage of it. But then when he realized what was going on with the Judgment Day, them pumping him up, getting in his face, like, come on, man, we got this. And then Jey faked him out, gave him a fist bump, and then super kicked him. That's when it just kind of went off. All right, well, he's not a bad person. Maybe that's when the realization kicked in. All right, he's not a bad person. Maybe he's not that bad. It didn't matter to Drew. He still super kicked him. I mean, he didn't super kick him. It's Claymore kicked him. He still Claymore kicked him. The running Claymore kick knocked his ass out and pinned him 1, 2, 3. Which again is playing into Drew McIntyre's pseudo heel turn. They're really heavy-handedly teasing this heel turn, which, for the record, the more they heavy-handedly tease it, I'm more and more believing it's not going to happen. I know everyone's looking for the heel turn. I don't think it's going to happen now, because it's so heavy-handed that I feel like it's a swerve now. It could still happen, but if he ends up not turning heel, I'd be like, well, yeah, that felt a little too obvious. And I like that as Drew, after he beat Jey, main event, he beat him in the main event, he starts walking up the ramp. Judgment Day, who's pissed off, starts attacking Jey. You see Drew is conflicted. He looks back, because he saw Jey attack Judgment Day, right? He saw it happen. But again, this is still the same Jey Uso that played a big role in costing Drew McIntyre the world title. So even though he might be a changed guy, Drew is still harboring very reasonable resentment towards him. So that conflict, as he's walking away, he wants to save him. He knows it's the right thing to do, but he can't bring himself to do it because of what happened to him. So everyone's saying Drew turned heel by not saving him. I feel the complete opposite. I think Drew is more of a babyface more than ever now, because that was a very reasonable thing to do. Now, Cody Rhodes came out and saved him because he's protecting his interests. Number one, because that's how he gets to SmackDown. But also, yeah, he's forming his own. He's doing what he should have done going up against Roman before WrestleMania 39. He's forming his own team. He's building his own army. He took the Jey Uso piece away from the Bloodline. So it's a long-term game. So I like that. I like that we're playing the long-term the long-term game with Cody, building into WrestleMania 40, where we clearly do the rematch, right? So I'm excited. I'm very excited to see what they do when it comes to Cody going to SmackDown, because I do believe he is going to SmackDown. So the main event and the ending of the show and everything involving Jey Uso, honestly, is easily the best parts of Raw tonight. I give that 2 thumbs up. That's good. The rest of the card, the rest of the show, I'm sorry, it feels like a rerun of Raw. So a lot of people really enjoyed Ivar versus Kofi Kingston. Everyone's like, that match stole the show. Oh, that match was so good. That match was amazing. I watched it. It was good. It was good. Kofi wins at Trouble in Paradise. It was, again, it's not a match that I would go back and watch. Now, that's just me. It was good. Maybe that's because I don't care about this New Day versus Viking Raiders feud. I just don't. It doesn't do much for me. Ricochet lost to Nakamura because Ricochet decided to hit Nakamura with a steel chair, showing that aggressive side. That's nice. Good to have that. But it led to nothing because Nakamura attacked him anyways and completely destroyed his legs because he wrapped his legs around the turnbuckle, and then started wrapping that chair around his leg. Just started pounding it. And then, like they did 2 weeks ago or last week, or whenever the hell they did it, we have Seth Rollins run out because he got baited by Nakamura. Nakamura runs away. I'm going to avoid you. And then Seth loses his temper, and then Nakamura just continues to weaken his back, which is what he did weeks ago. So nothing really changed here. It's just more of the same. Again, that's why I was looking at people's tweets like, this was a great show. I'm like, what was great about it? Ain't much changed here. Chelsea Green, Piper Niven, Shayna Baszler, Zoe Stark just didn't happen because it just didn't happen. It just didn't happen. Sorry, like, I don't know what to tell you. It just didn't happen. It got canceled. Vince McMahon just said, "Get that out of here." Fine. Fucking Nia, my Jax, my hole. Nia, my whole Jax. Interfered and attacked all the women because what else are we gonna do with her? She can't talk. She can't wrestle. So we'll just have her attack people until she ends up fighting Rhea Ripley and having an awful match with her where she'll lose and we can move on from her. But yeah, she's just gonna attack people and I just don't care. I don't care. She's awful. She's bad. Nia, my fucking whole Jax, is just really making me not care about this women's division. She's awful, bro. What they did with Chad Gable is heartbreaking, but in a good way. Chad Gable tried to get another opportunity with Adam Pearce to fight Gunther, and he said, bruh, I'm sorry, man. Like, you lost to him clean. You gotta start from the back of the line. And that's when freaking Bronson Reed walked up and said, yeah, get behind me. I want a shot now. And then Adam Pearce put them in a match, and Bronson Reed beat Chad Gable clean. Good match. But Bronson Reed won. So Chad Gable just moves further and further to the back of the line. He moves forward. Bronson Reed moves forward. And now Tommaso Ciampa is over here trying to gun for the belt as well. So unless we're doing a multi-man match, which I don't see happening, it feels like Tommaso Ciampa and Bronson Reed are next in line to fight Gunther. Which, cool with me. Not against it. I think after this is when we get Becky and Natalya. Let me be sure there's nothing else happening on the show here. Yeah, and I guess the last thing we'll talk about is what they're doing with Becky Lynch, the NXT Championship, and Natalya. So, like I said at the beginning, Becky Lynch winning the NXT title, I like simply because it makes her a Grand Slam champ. That's the only reason why I am even remotely okay with this. Because she deserves to have that accolade. This woman may have been at WrestleMania. She should be a Grand Slam champ too. And she just basically stamped a future ticket into the Hall of Fame. So congratulations to her. I'm happy for her. I think that's great for Becky. In terms of the impact it will have on the roster, the NXT roster. Even after talking about it, it don't feel right. It's clear they gave her the belt because they want people to watch NXT. Because that's the only way to get people to watch. That's the only way to get people to watch. I miss the days where you didn't have to put the belt on someone from the main roster to make you watch NXT. NXT was good enough to make you watch it by itself because at one point in time, NXT was the A show. NXT was the best WWE show that the brand could offer. Back then, when they brought in the Kevin Owens, and the Finn Balor's, and the Sami Zayns, and the Garganos, and the Ciampas, and the Velveteen Dreams, and the AOPs, and the Baileys, and the Asukas, and the Charlottes, and the Sashas, and the Beckys, and the Biancas, and the Rheas, and the Kairi Sanes, and the Shayna Baszlers. When they were doing cruiserweight tournaments. When they were doing the women's tournaments. Like, NXT was good on its own. If anything, the main roster talent got elevated by going to NXT. And now, because Bruce Pritchard and Vince McMahon hated the fact that Triple H got the brand over through sheer storytelling and just better booking, they bastardized it. Completely killed it. They killed it. So now it's to the point where unless you put the belt on someone from the main roster, no one's going to watch. So what happens here now that we've established that main roster people can win these belts, they now lose their importance, because the whole point of having these NXT belts is to let people know, all right, these people are next in line to be moved up. Bronson Reed, to me, should have already been called up. When I look at who they have as champs right now, we got, I mean, we can pull it up right here. We got Carmelo Hayes, the Don family. Why I think it was the Creed brothers. The Don family, sure. Probably will be a Creed brothers soon. It's like Carmelo Hayes for sure is main roster ready. The Don family, I don't know much about them, but sure. We'll go with that. But before Don won it, it was Wesley. Because I looked at Wesley and went, hell yeah. That's a main roster talent right there too. But now, because we're sacrificing the purpose and the concept of these belts and turning them into props for the main roster talent to make people watch NXT, that to me hurts the show. And I think that's why it doesn't feel right when it comes to Becky. It ain't because I think Becky's a bad champion. Oh, far from it. Fuck that. I think Becky's one of the best champions, one of the best title holders they can have. Becky has elevated every championship she's carried. Without question. She's one of the best champions they've had for the longest time. It's just, to me, in this instance, she's doing more harm for NXT and that belt than she is helping it. And when Natalya came out to challenge her, like at first I'm like, what are we doing? Why are two former women's champs fighting for the NXT belt? How does that make any sense? How does that make any sense? That makes no sense to me. Even Becky was like, Natalya, you're a former champ. Let some other women win this. And then Natalya said, get that shit out of here, Becky. You want to talk about helping the younger talent? Here you are stepping on. You're over here stepping on the NXT roster by taking this belt off of them. You are burying the NXT roster by holding this belt. Natalya's right. Which, in turn, makes me not care about this match. It makes me not like the fact that Becky has that title. So, the match happened, and I'm watching it, and I'm scratching my head like, this doesn't make any goddamn sense. Becky beats Natalya, like, what did that do? What did that do for the belt? What did that do for anybody? Nothing. Apparently, Tegan Nox was supposed to fight Becky, and I'm sorry, I love Tegan Nox, by the way. What would that have done? Tegan Nox? She's not on NXT. The whole point of Becky getting the NXT title is to elevate what? The NXT women's division. How does Becky fighting Natalya or Tegan Nox elevate anything? I don't get it. So, I think the sooner we get the belt off of Becky, the better. If Jade Cargill, and this is bringing it full circle, if Jade Cargill is on her way to NXT, I'm begging Shawn Michaels to get that belt on her as soon as possible. Becky holding the belt for 3 months, I think, is way too long. She should lose that belt before the year's over. Okay, we got October, November, December, right? Before we get to January next year, Becky should be dropping the belt. And she should be dropping the belt to Jade Cargill. And if you do it that way, we're fine. Matter of fact, that would be the only reason why I'm okay with her. I'm okay with her holding this belt so she can give it to Jade Cargill and put her over. And then Jade can have a long run with the belt before she gets moved to the main roster. But as of right now, Becky being the women's champ, I don't think it's benefiting the show as much as we think it should be. Like, I think on paper, Dominik Mysterio isn't benefiting the show as much as I think it should be. I think the NXT North American title is more decoration for Dom, as I do with Becky with the women's title. But we'll see. We'll see how things play out over time. I see her dropping the belt to Jade Cargill or somebody. Maybe back to Tiffany Stratton, and then Tiffany Stratton could drop it to Jade Cargill. That's assuming Jade Cargill goes to NXT, which I think she should, by the way. But right now, I don't want to see Becky defend the NXT title on Raw to Tegan Nox and what, Emma? Nikki Cross? What does that do? I think about when Dolph Ziggler won the NXT title. What did that do? Nothing! Exactly! So, there were some things about this show that was good. I liked everything involving Jey Uso and the stories around him. That's great. I'm happy that he's having an impact on Raw in that aspect. I'm enjoying what they're doing with Sept and Shinsuke Nakamura, but we didn't get much advancement here. Cody clearly is going to SmackDown. That's been established. And the rest of the show is just kind of there. You know, we'll see where things end up in the upcoming weeks. But for me, this was a decent episode. It wasn't anything I'm going to go back and watch again. But that's just me. How do y'all feel about it? Give me your thoughts about it down below. Guys, we powered through it. Jesus Christ, we got through the review. I was scared that I was going to have to end the stream early. But it looked like after it went out a couple of times, the internet settled in. So I think we're back to normal, which is good. I apologize for bad internet, y'all. I am so sorry. I had no control over it. When it's bad, it's bad. But we good. What do y'all think? Where's your head at when it comes to tonight's Raw? What were your favorite moments? How you feel about the overall show? Are you excited for things to come? Did you think it was great? Did you think it was alright? What's your thoughts? Let me know. Let me see here. People showing love to A and B combos. Thank y'all for that. Thank you for being so welcoming. I appreciate that, y'all. Everybody seems to be excited for Jade Cargill coming in. That's good. That's really good. FG204, Jade is interested in cashing big checks. She was already cashing big checks with AEW. I don't think that was it. It ain't about the checks. I doubt it's a money issue. I think it's because she wanted to be involved in better storylines. What's this? Have you heard that Cody Rhodes tried to buy Ring of Honor right when Tony Khan outbid him last year, which I think was a personal issue? Really? Is that true? So Cody wanted to own Ring of Honor, and Tony fucked him over. Because to me, if Cody wanted to run Ring of Honor, that would have... Dude, I swear to God, I would be very upset if the whole idea was for Cody to own Ring of Honor and him run it while Tony ran AEW. Okay. I don't know where you got that from, Khalil. If that's true, I'm gonna be upset. I call that a personal issue myself. Because Tony's struggling right now to run Ring of Honor. If Cody was running it, that would have been so much better. And then Cody would have been able to stay. Find it odd how the AEW Women's Division is separated. You have Top Star Island and then the rest of the roster, and then they never had matches in between them. Yeah, that's kind of weird. Like, I still don't understand how Jade Cargill never had matches with Britt Baker, Thunder Rosa, Toni Storm, I said Jade Cargill twice. Jamie Hayter. I don't know. That's weird. Let me see here. Someone just told me about the timeout notifications. Yeah, a 5-star heart. That's right. You can now time people out for up to 24 hours. You can say you're timed out for 24 hours. Drop the hammer on them. I think Jade will do well in NXT. Developing her in the ring, developing her in-ring ability, and would make huge money. I think she will be fine. Yeah, I agree, Khalil. I think she's going to be great. Where is Carlito? they sign him? Where is he? Unless they didn't. But I'm sure I'm almost certain they signed him. If you go on YouTube, it's just the same matches that we saw over and over. I'm like, yeah, like, it's literally the same matches. It's a rerun from last week or the weeks before. Okay, supposed to check out something that was sent to me from Khalil. Let me look at this real quickly. Yeah, this is my first time hearing about this story. Post wrestling. Let me see. Bears CD Bruiser calls former Ring of Honor GM Greg a piece of shit. Claims Jillian News company was for sale while reciting talents. Bruiser also said an anonymous private backer made an offer to buy Ring of Honor. He claims the backer was Cody Rhodes. Let me send that through. Let me send that through Fightful Select and the people and the wrestling news to verify that. We'll have to see if that one's valid. You might be right. It might be Cody, but let me send it through the right channels. Let me send it through the right channels to make sure it's verified. Because if that's true, that's a huge story. Let me see here. Paid Enthusiast said this is a badly booked Raw. I won't even say it was badly booked. It was just average. It was average. That's it. What happened to Xia Li? Posting cute ass photos on Instagram. Y'all should check out her Instagram. Her Instagram is. And no pause on that. I think Tiffany Stratton will win the NXT title back from Becky Lynch. Okay, look. I think it should be Jade Cargill. Personally. But if you want to put it back on Tiffany Stratton, go for it. I think Rhea Ripley should be doing open challenges. I'm so sick of open challenges. Everybody does open challenges now. I'm over it. I'm over it, y'all. Yeah, nothing really else to add other than what was said when it comes to Raw and Jade Cargill. So let's go ahead and get out of here. Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate you for making me a part of your day. Really apologize for the bad internet. Oh, man. It really does fuck up the flow. It really messes with the flow of the stream and my flow when bad internet happens. So we're going to look into that. Hopefully it'll be better by tomorrow. And we'll see how it looks by Wednesday. But other than that, thank you guys so much. Do all the YouTube things as you file out. Like the video, subscribe, and click that bell to catch all my content when it comes out. Follow me on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok, for I am the tickets of the talkers. And donate using PayPal, Patreon, Cash App, and Venmo. You already know what's getting ready to happen. Wednesday, we got Grand Slam, AEW Grand Slam. Friday, we got Layers of a SmackDown. And I think that's it this week. Because, let me see. Wrestle Dream, I think, is next Sunday? Yeah, okay, so next Sunday, this week is Grand Slam. This is the big week for Grand Slam. Next week is Wrestle Dream for AEW. And then the week after that is going to be the Fastlane pay-per-view. So we got a lot. We got a lot coming up. So stay tuned for more. Be sure you check out more content right here in Alex's World, a safe space for wrestling fans like you. And I guess I'll catch you guys next time. This is Alyx, just Alyx, signing off. Take it easy. Peace.
When you're when you're